Whether the team has given us the highest of highs or the bluest of blues, we'll cover it all here on Commanders Nightly News. I, of course, am your host, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Let's get to tonight's lead story. So, I want to put the bow on Jacksonville. That victory was sweet. It felt good. Feels like the beginning of something big this year. But we got to see how we handle the success of week one. Like, that's something that this team has struggled with, handling success. I think this is going to be different, but we will see. I had a chance to take a look at the film, and for those of you that are members of Patreon that are interested, the film will be out tomorrow. You may not want to watch it tomorrow. It is what it is. I'm going to put it out. So you remember me telling you guys that I had figured out, how I was going to do this film thing. Well, there were a couple of snafus and things that I didn't consider when I thought I had figured it out. So I had to go through that whole troubleshooting process. Took about 2 hours. I figured it out, but in doing so, it took me longer to get through some of the things I wanted to get through. And I didn't even do everything because, normally when I break down the film, I like to go through the entire game. But for what it's worth, it's still an hour and some change worth of me breaking down, film, but it's not everything that I wanted to get to. But it'll be out earlier moving forward now that I have a plan in place that I can now take and execute. So in watching the film, though, here are some of the takeaways I had from the game. We left some opportunities out on the field, as did Jacksonville. We've talked about Jacksonville's opportunities that were missed, but we really didn't get into the opportunities that we missed. One of the plays, and I may put this one up on social media that I broke down. You got Jahan Dotson screaming down the sidelines, and it's a four verts look. Washington motions Jahan Dotson or Curtis Samuel from the weak side of the formation to the strong side and creates a bunch formation, and it's four verts. And you probably can visualize the play that I'm talking about. It's the play where Carson Wentz misses Logan Thomas high over the middle of the field, wide open. So Curtis Samuel comes from the top of the screen down to the bottom in motion to create a trips, a bunch formation. And everybody's running a vert. So it's four verts. Terry's up at the top of the screen by himself. Jahan Dotson is inside. Logan Thomas's dot is at the head of that bunch formation. And Curtis Samuel runs to the outside. And Dotson goes outside. Samuel goes inside and vertical. And Thomas just goes right up the seam. And Jacksonville fell asleep behind the wheel. Similar, if you remember, if you watched Thursday Night Football, when Jalen Ramsey was staring in the backfield and Stephon Diggs ran right by him down the sidelines, and Josh Allen rolled out and then threw a bomb, hit him, and he slid into the end zone. That's what happened on that particular snap. The corner is eyeballing Carson Wentz. He loses his luggage. Safety's worried about Logan Thomas threatening the middle of the field, and nobody runs with Jahan Dotson, and it's a missed opportunity. Obviously, you go back, you look at the tablet. I think that's part of the reason he hit Terry, because the corner over there did the exact same thing against Terry, where he just turned him loose, and the safety couldn't get over in time. So I know he is cognizant that he missed that opportunity to Dotson, because they came back to a similar look to Terry later in the game for the touchdown that got us back into the game at 22-20. So love to see them making an in-game adjustment, right? Obviously, there were other plays that were missed. I'm going to tell you this, man. Teron Payne, oh my God, he was so good in this game. He kicked Brandon Sheriff's ass. I'm just going to be brutally honest with you. He had himself a whale of a ball game. Was really impressed with what he did. You know who I was disappointed in? I was really disappointed in Cole Holcomb in this particular game. Our run defense was not good. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. Jacksonville really had their way with us on the ground, and honestly, they should have run it more. But and I talked about that on Studs and Duds with you guys, so that's not a secret. But I felt like Cole Holcomb was often out of place. I thought he often overran plays and set up cutback lanes. I didn't think he was as disciplined as I had seen him in the past. Um, and Jamin Davis had his struggles in the game, but I thought they also put him in some compromising situations. There shouldn't be many opportunities for the other team's best receiver to be one-on-one with our linebacker in man-to-man coverage. That can't happen. There were too many opportunities for them to win one-on-one against Jamin Davis. We love Jamin as an athlete, but that doesn't mean you stick him in every one-on-one situation. And you got to credit Jacksonville for putting him in those situations against Christian Kirk, against Travis Etienne when he had him down the sidelines. You got to give Jacksonville credit for scheming up opportunities to get our guys isolated one-on-one. You heard Ron Rivera at the podium today talk about some looks that they got from Jacksonville that they weren't expecting. And I think that's kind of what he's alluding to, that Jacksonville spreaded us out and they got some of our guys on an island one-on-one and they took advantage of them. Christian Kirk, 6 catches, 117 yards. He went to work on us. Okay. And it wasn't just Jamin Davis. He had the big one on Kendall Fuller as well. He spread it around. Just about everybody got them some of Christian Kirk. So I thought from a linebacker standpoint, we have to be better. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. I mean, that was one of the things we were somewhat worried about going into the season. I need to see more from our linebackers, but I wasn't like super, distraught over what I watched. Like, oh my, like John Bostic, if you remember from last year where I like lost it. This isn't that. They just have to play better. They have to play better. Let's see if there are any other massive takeaways from the game that I would like to bring to your attention. Man, Antonio Gibson looks good. I mean, again, not something that you don't already know. You can see that from the TV copy, but I mean, just looking at him, wow, watching him on tape and seeing some of the things that he was able to do, I was just so impressed with him. Did you guys know? So I think I brought this up because I heard somebody else bring this up. Did you guys know that they were platooning in different guards during the game? Like, did you know that live as the game was happening? Because I didn't even notice until I started watching the film. Now, I'd heard one of the reporters ask a question about platooning the guards in and out, and I talked about it with you guys, I think, earlier in the week. But actually seeing it, I got to see Sadiq Charles and how did he fare? I got to watch, Trey Turner and how did he fare? And I saw the play that Wes Schweitzer hurt his hamstring on. And so I was able to kind of see what was going on there. So Sadiq Charles, I thought he did well. I thought he did well considering the circumstances. There were a couple of times where, he looked a bit overwhelmed, but I thought he did a good job of passing off stunts. He looked stout in there. I was proud of Sadiq, okay? It makes me feel good knowing that if he has to play, there's not this massive drop-off. Hell, we didn't even realize he had stepped in the game. Trey Turner, I will say this. I was really pleased with what we got from him as a pass protector. And in short spaces, I thought he was good in the run game. Anytime he had to get out in space, he couldn't move. And maybe that's a byproduct of the quad that he was dealing with. Maybe that's a byproduct of conditioning for him. He really missed all of training camp. Or maybe, just maybe, he's not a great athlete anymore. Maybe he once was. He's up there in age. All those different factors. I don't know. But, man, he looked like he was moving in slow motion a couple of times, when he got out in space. And to the point where the running back or the person with the ball just said, all right, watch out. I got it. Don't worry about it. So, all in all, though, I thought the offensive line was better. I thought the running backs and all of the guys in protection actually did a tremendous job. The tight ends, the running backs, they did a good job because Jacksonville blitzed a little bit more than I thought they did. After watching it, live, and then coming back and watching the film, they blitzed a little bit more than I had remembered watching it live. And we did a really good job of picking up those blitzes for the most part. So there were a lot of good takeaways from watching the film, but that's behind us now. And let's talk about, I'll say one more thing. Defensively, we have to be better. Period. I'll leave it at that. So we're moving on to Detroit. It's Wednesday. It's time to turn the page. And I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch the locker room, scrums that they had. We heard from Cam Curl today. We heard from Terry McLaurin. His birthday is tomorrow. We heard from Bobby McCain. We heard from Curtis Samuel. We heard from, I'm missing someone. It was one more player. I can't remember who that one guy is, but we heard from several guys in the locker room. Logan Thomas, that's who it was. And the guy from Channel 7 that asked Carson Wentz that crazy, it wasn't a crazy question. He phrased it in a unflattering way. He kept bringing up to all the players what it would mean to start 2-0. And he kept saying that it'd be the first time. And remember, we've had these conversations. All of these conversations we had in the offseason when we were talking about how good it would be to do this and how great it would be to get off to this kind of start. When's the last time we started X, Y, Z, and O? Or when's the last time we were X amount of games over 500? We've done all of those conversations. I think we figured it out on our own that it was 2011, right? That was the last time we started 2-0. And he kept telling everybody, hey, it's been over a decade. And when you phrase it that way, when we talk about these things, I always kind of wince a little bit because it's just so disgusting to even say it. And then to hear it, it reinforces just how bad we've been over the last 20 to 25 years. So when he keeps asking the question, how good would it feel to get off to a 2-0 start? This franchise hasn't been 2-0 since 2011. It's been over a decade. And a lot of those players are like, whoa, that's pretty insane. And, I just think about that. I remember think about this. This puts it in its proper perspective. Okay. It was the last year of Rex Grossman starting, right? With Kyle Shanahan and Mike. And that was Ryan Kerrigan's rookie season. Let this sink in, okay? Because this will bring proper perspective to how long it's been. It was Ryan Kerrigan's rookie season. He had the interception off of Eli Manning that he returned for a touchdown. We won that game like 21-14. He is retired and he's now a coach on the staff. Okay. The last time we were 2-0, Ryan Kerrigan was a rookie. He is now retired and on the staff as an assistant defensive line coach. That is how long it has been. Okay. This is not optional. We must go 0-2. And I've talked to a number of Detroit Lions fans, and they're saying the exact same thing, except it's not optional. We can't fall to 0-2, except they can fall to 0-2. You know why? Because they're the Detroit Lions. And they're not going anywhere this year. We actually have a chance to do something, and they don't. Okay? So as I always say to people, when I feel like you've got a better chance than I do at being great, so I'm just going to allow you to go be great, I'm not going to get in your way of being great because you can actually do something with this. I can't. There's a glass ceiling. There's only so much I can do. A good season for Detroit this year is doubling their win total, getting to 6 or 7 wins, and they'll be excited and they're building. They're about a year behind where we are in our process. Last year, we were like, hey, if we win, 9 games, that'd be great. 8, 9 games, that'd be great. It'd be an improvement from the year prior where we were 7-10 or 7-9. That's not satisfactory this year, okay? And next year, they'll probably be saying what we're saying right now, which is, hey, we got to win this year, okay? They don't need it. They want it. We need it, okay? Where we're going, you can't afford to lose to Detroit. And I don't want to do that thing where we look down our nose at Detroit, but they're still trying to find ways to win. So are we, okay? Guilty as charged. So are we. But, and, I've heard some things. You have sent me things about, Detroit Lions fans. One guy said, we've got a better roster than the Commanders. I'm like, the Lions have a better roster than the Commanders? Wow. Well, obviously, Vegas thinks that they should win this football game. They're 2.5-point favorites. They're favorites for the first time in 24 games. So as I tell you that this disrespect continues to mount, let it pile up, okay? Let it stack up like bricks, okay? At the end of the day, it's our job to quiet all of the naysayers. And if you want to quell all of the disrespect, I've already told you, 3 letters will get it done. Every single time. They can't say anything when you do three letters. Win. Okay? We can talk all we want till our face turns blue. We can get upset. Our fingers can get to moving on Twitter and socials. None of that shit matters. You get the 3 letters and they can't say nothing. Okay? They go radio silent. All we hear is crickets after dubs. So I love it. I want more of it. I've got the Lions in my sight. I see 2-0 right there. I can reach out and grab it. But we got to go out and we got to take it. The Lions aren't going to hand it to us. They're not going to give it to us. We got to go and take it. I've talked about this year having to take the things that we want. We want respect. They're not going to give it to us. That's apparent. You beat Jacksonville. And first of all, you're supposed to lose to Jacksonville, right? We saw all the predictions. No one was telling us that we were going to win that game. Vegas, except for Vegas. Vegas said, we see you winning the game. All right. Not by a lot, but we see you winning the game. But all the pundits, everybody, Jacksonville's going to win. We saw all of the different chyrons and the different projections. Jacksonville 23-20, Jacksonville 27-24. We saw all of that. But then when we beat Jacksonville, it's just Jacksonville. Oh, I know it's just Jacksonville. That's fine. I'm not telling you that we just defeated the Buffalo Bills or we just beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I get it. It's Jacksonville. But for us, it's a win. And you'll take them any way you can get it against any opponent in the league. I don't give a damn. So I'm so looking forward to this next matchup. And I think that this team is in the right headspace. And you know what? This is the last thing we'll say on Jacksonville before we move on. And we'll turn the page. I feel like the kind of victory that we got was exactly what we needed. Because in a season where you expect to win double-digit games, there will be adversity. We're not a front-runner type of team yet. Okay? We're not a front-running team. We don't blow teams out. We don't know how to do that. We haven't learned how to put teams away. We had Jacksonville right where we wanted them to put them away, and we couldn't do it. We're not there yet. Okay, we're not that team. We're trying to grow into that team. So we're going to face adversity throughout the season. We're going to be down in games. We're going to be leading. Then we're going to be trailing, or we're going to be trailing for the entire game, and then we're going to need to mount a comeback. We're going to need to rally late in 1 or 2 more games down the stretch this season. It's so good to get that first one under your belt in the fashion, in the manner that we did, because not only did the offense have to come to the party and step up, the defense also had to meet them halfway. And all parties involved got their respective jobs done, and we were able to be victorious. So feeling really good about what we've done and how we got it done in week 1. And I think that's actually going to serve us well moving forward. So let's go ahead and transition into in other news. And before we get to the injury report or what Ron or what Carson said at the podium, I want to make a correction to something that I said to you guys, because yesterday on the show, I talked about the 2 defensive tackles that we signed. We signed Donovan Jeter from Michigan, who was on the Pittsburgh Steelers practice squad. And we signed Benning Patoa Ia. I always get his name messed up. Patoa Ia. All right. It's really not that hard. You try to do too much with it. Patoa Ia, right? So we signed Benning, Patoa Ia, and Donovan Jeter. Of the 2, Donovan Jeter is the guy that they're most excited about. And I said, he's not that big. He looks like the rest of our defensive tackles. Not exactly. He's actually put on some weight, okay? I watched film of him at Michigan. I had no idea that he bulked up and got as big as he did in Pittsburgh. He's 325 pounds now. And everything that I said he wasn't, Ron said he is, which I said, he's not a space eater. We don't do space eaters in our defense. And, like Fedarian Mathis was our idea of a space eater, and Fedarian Mathis is like 310 pounds. This guy's like 325, but he carries it well if he is in the same type of shape that I saw him in. Now, again, when I saw him at Michigan, he looked like he was like 305. So if he's 325, wow, he's big. He's a solid athlete, not great, not going to knock your socks off, neither one of these guys. But here's the biggest mistake that I made. I disregarded these dudes as if they were some practice squad clown that we just signed. Wrong choice of words. Some practice squad guy that we signed that has, little to no chance of being active. And even if he is on the active roster, he's not getting any run. We are thin at defensive tackle. We didn't sign these guys like the corners, for instance, that we signed it. The likelihood is, as long as we're relatively healthy, those guys don't see the field. Rashad Wildgoose doesn't see the field. Neither, does the Penn State corner, right? These guys have been brought in to provide depth that we absolutely have to have. They're practicing, and they want to get a look at these guys. And I think Donovan Jeter may actually be active on Sunday. Okay, so these guys are going to contribute. To what degree, I don't know, but it's not going to be zero. That's for sure. So I have to wrap my brain around that, and so do you. And Ron made it abundantly clear. Hey, look, we need depth at defensive tackle. These guys are going to have to play. Okay. Anyway, I digress. Let's get into the injury report, then we'll come back. We'll talk about what was said at the podium, and then we'll transition to our next segment. So let's get to our injury report for week 2, our first of week 2. And it's actually a very promising injury report. So as you look at it, there's only one guy that did not participate in practice today, and that was Wes Schweitzer. I talked about the injury that he sustained to his hamstring in the game. You actually can see the snap on the film, and you guys will see that tomorrow where he actually got injured, and Carson Wentz got hit on that play. It was one of the few times that he got belted on Sunday. Schweitzer got hurt. His guy got through. Boom. Hits Wentz. Wentz threw it away, but took a shot in the process. So Wes Schweitzer, more likely than not, he's going to be out. And we've been down this road with Wes before with a hamstring. It's going to be a while. Okay. Wes is probably going to be out, I'd say anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. I'm going to put it at 3 weeks, but I wouldn't be shocked if he misses a month with that hamstring. Hamstrings are really tricky, especially for 300-pounders. I don't expect to see Wes Schweitzer anytime soon. But the encouraging thing was he was out there at practice. He was on the side field. When guys are really injured, you don't see them on the field at all. They're not on the side field. They're not on the bike. They're in the training room. They don't even come out to practice. So at least he was out there, which gives me a little hope that maybe the hamstring injury isn't as severe as once feared. But I don't anticipate him being ready this week or next. Jonathan Allen with the groin was limited today, which is great news. Wow, we dodged a bullet there. Cam Curl with the thumb. limited in practice today. He's going to play this weekend, more likely than not. Jamin Davis, non-injury related, so nothing really there to see. Trey Turner, quad, limited in practice. Hopefully he's a full go tomorrow. You know, anytime you got a guy that's dealing with anything, you kind of just want to not have him go out there and go full bore Wednesday. If you can give him that extra day off to be on a limited basis, you do that. Thursday is the day that generally you want to see a guy go out there and give you a full day, if at all possible. Cole Turner is definitely playing. Ron had already said if we really needed him, he could have played last week. They just wanted to give him another week to get his feet under him, get his conditioning right, also get into the playbook a little bit more, get more reps. He's playing. I'm so excited. I have not been this excited for a tight end probably since Jordan Reed. So I am really excited to see Cole Turner. And he may not do anything, okay? But I'm anxious. It's like a new toy. I just want to get my hands on the new toy and play with it. I'm ready to put some batteries in and hit the switch and see what it does. I just want to see what Cole Turner does, all right? So I'm excited about him being a full participant in practice, and I expect him to be that way all week. I don't even expect him to be listed on the injury report when it is all said and done. We transition away from Washington's injury report to Detroit's. And finally, we play a team that actually has some injuries. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but Jacksonville's injury report for week 2, they have no injuries to report. Remember, they had one guy for the most part all week last week, and that was Foley Fatukasi, who played in the game. And then on Friday, I think one of their tackles showed up on the injury report, but he played too. They're healthy. Not so much with the Detroit Lions, all right? So they've got some guys out at practice. Now, keep this in mind. I just explained to you what Wednesday is. Wednesday is install day. Thus, mentally, I need you there. Physically, you don't have to participate. I would like for you to, but you don't have to. It's install day. I need you mentally sharp, however, to see exactly what it is we're trying to get accomplished this week, okay? So all of these guys being out of practice Wednesday, don't let it go to your head, okay? Don't let it go to your head, no. Most of these guys are probably going to play. Now, Thursday is a different story. If we start to see some DNPs tomorrow, like for instance, DeAndre Swift and his ankle, I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe, okay? You're not going to make me excited thinking that one of their best weapons isn't going to be available. Nah, no way. He's playing. Same with their best offensive lineman in Frank Ragnow at center. He's the head of that offensive line monster. If you cut the head off, the rest of the body will die. Frank is going to play, okay? As far as I'm concerned, until Frank is out, Frank is going to play. So I'm not going to get excited. Same with their left tackle, Taylor Decker. He's got a DNP for a calf. He's going to play, okay? Until I see out for the game status, those guys are playing. Michael Brockers at defensive tackle, going to play. So I don't buy what they're selling right now, but it's good to know that they've got some guys just like we do, banged up a little bit, and we'll see how they handle that. For the rest of the guys, Tommy Kramer, a guard, he's got a back right now, didn't practice. We'll see. We'll check up on all 5 of these guys that currently aren't practicing. I guarantee you 2 or 3 of them are limited tomorrow, if not full participants. We'll see. Jonah Jackson, another guard, has a finger limited. Melon Fonwu, the safety, he's got a hamstring. He was limited. And Julian Okwara is full participant with a hamstring, which more likely than not means he's going to play on Sunday. So the Lions do have some issues there, some injuries, and we'll see if those injuries prove to be costly for them or not. But getting back to what Ron and Carson Wentz said at the podium. So Ron really didn't have a lot to say. I think some of the biggest takeaways I've already given you, which were the 2 defensive tackles, that was towards the end of his presser, which was roughly about 14 minutes long. Same with Carson. They were pretty long today. I mean, everybody's in a good mood when you win, right? You lose, and all of a sudden those press conferences are 8 or 9 minutes. You win, and everybody's willing to stick around for an extra question or 2. But Ron talked about those two defensive tackles. He talked about, being excited about Antonio Gibson and what he brings to the table. But he also talked about Brian Robinson getting on the bike. And every time he talks about Brian Robinson, he gets a shit-eating grin on his face. Ron's really excited about this kid. He really, truly is. They can't wait to get their hands on Brian Robinson. So he was on the bike today. The pace that this kid is moving at is just blowing my mind. So many people reached out to me when he was shot, and I talked about, not knowing how long it was going to take for him to heal up. And obviously we later found out that it missed everything. Like, he was really blessed because it missed any ligaments, tendons, anything really structurally that could have been affected wasn't. And so it makes the healing process that much easier for him. And so many people are like, man, I don't know if we're going to see this guy, for XYZ amount of time. And, he was walking. It felt like a week later, maybe 3 or 4 days later, he came in on crutches. And then maybe 3 or 4 days later after that, he was walking without the crutches. Now he's riding a bike outside with just the leg bandaged up. Like, this guy seems like he's flying through this. Like, even when he was put on IR, I was like, there's no way he'll be back for week 5. Now I'm looking at him, I'm saying, oh my God, he might be back for week 5. It's just amazing. Anyway, Ron talked about the growth he's seen from Scott Turner. And in the film breakdown, I show you several instances of just pure greatness from Scott Turner and his play calling and the design of the play. And I said this in the film. I don't think he's going to be here for long. Okay. Much like I've said with some of our positional coaches like Chris Harris, and I know some of you aren't the biggest Chris Harris fans. That's fine. Enjoy Scott Turner while you can. A lot of you are, some of you, not a lot of you, some of you are Scott Turner bashers. You don't think he's great, this, that, and the third. Don't worry. Someone's going to think he's great because he's really talented and he gets it. And he's going to get a job somewhere. And he talked about him sticking with Carson Wentz and being aggressive. Look, there was a lull, and I love the fact that Carson Wentz described it and termed it as a lull, which is what we've been calling it here, over the last 3 days. A lull is exactly what it was. We started hot. We had the Curtis Samuel fumble, and then we went to sleep. Okay. And then we woke up when we were down. We went to sleep. We were up 11. We woke up and we were down 8. And so we got to find a way to get rid of that lull. And I watched it on film, and it confirmed what we all thought, which was Scott Turner. He got conservative. A lot of screens, swing passes to Antonio Gibson out into the flats, a lot of underneath stuff. He stopped attacking down the field aggressively. Okay. And Carson had some things to do with that because he missed some opportunities with guys open. He missed Dax Milne wide open on the sidelines. He missed Logan Thomas over the middle of the field and had Jahan wide ass open potentially for a touchdown down the sideline on the same play. So there were some opportunities missed to hit some big plays that could have jump-started a drive for us. But all in all, there were too many runs that were ineffective. There were too many swing screens to Curtis Samuel, swing screen to Antonio Gibson out of the backfield that the Jaguars were sitting on because we had already done it 12 times in the game. And so we put ourselves in some really bad down and distances with, some of the play calling. But then when we had to have it, he turned it back up. And so Ron was like, yeah, I think he's continuing to grow. And honestly, he's got pieces now that he didn't have before. He's got a quarterback that he didn't have before. He's about to get real frisky, is Scott Turner this year, because he's got some toys to play with. And he also Ron talked about Jack Del Rio. He was asked about blitzing more. It's apparent. You can't hide it, okay? They made a conscious effort and decision to blitz more this year. Now, I contend that the blitzing more stems from the opponent. Like, I'm not going to precondition myself to think that this is what we're going to do. This is the norm. And every game we're going to go in, we're going to be aggressive. Because I don't think that they're going to do that against teams that they fear getting vertical. I don't think they were scared of Jacksonville's speed. And they still got behind us. I don't think they're going to be scared of Detroit's speed. And I think they're going to be aggressive coming after Jared Goff as well. I think we will be a little bit more apprehensive to come after Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, because not only can Hurts run and hurt you if you don't get to him, but they've got speed to hurt you vertically as well. And so I think with teams that they see speed and guys that they feel like can hurt them vertically, they may be a little bit less aggressive. But teams like Jacksonville, and I'm going to say Detroit, who doesn't have a ton of team speed, they've got some guys that can run. All right, but they don't have flat out blazers. You may see them be aggressive again. I like the aggressive nature of what Jack Del Rio did, blitzing the corners. He blitzed Benjamin St. Juste a couple of times. He blitzed Bobby McCain. He blitzed William Jackson III. You know, he mixed it up. He sent a bunch of, and he sent Jamin Davis, and some of it too was Jamin Davis having the running back man-to-man, the running back staying in the block, so that gives Jamin Davis the opportunity to blitz. And so he green dogged a couple of times on his own. But all in all, I love the fact that we were more aggressive. And then setting that tone early, then you don't have to blitz as much. You start to, get into a rhythm, and then you get pressure with just 4. So anyway, that was the gist of what Ron Rivera said today. Then you go to Carson Wentz, and I am just fascinated with Carson Wentz and his mental makeup and his maturity. He talked about it a little bit more today, and he gives us bits and pieces, right? And he talked about being in the huddle. So a question was posed to him about the players saying how even keel he was in the huddle despite the 2 turnovers and all of a sudden now finding yourself down by 8 in the game after leading for most of the game by double figures. And they just talked about how he was just even keel in the huddle. And he said, man, I can tell you this, I've grown so much. I've been in these situations so often in my career now, whether it's been on the plus side of it or on the negative side of it, that I know how to, kind of lower my heart rate, you know what I mean, so to speak. He didn't quite use that phrase, but he was kind of hinting at, hey, I know how to, stay even, move on to the next play, because I've been there, I've done that. They're going to be highs, they're going to be lows, but you got to find a way to stay medium. You remember that term here in Washington? Staying medium? There was a point where I never wanted to hear the phrase staying medium here in Washington. But he talked about that kind of victory, and I alluded to this at the top of the show, that kind of victory helping you grow as a team. And I always like to talk about the mental aspect. I'm a big psychology guy. You know how I am about the mental side of things. Because winning, competing at the highest level, and just being a competitor, like I'm a competitor, period, which is why I get pissed off when I get eliminated in the survivor pool after 1 week. I get pissed off. Why? Because I'm a competitor. I hate to lose. I've told you the tic-tac-toe story before. I'm not all right when it's about, there's something off in my brain from a competitive standpoint. I just can't flip this switch off. Okay. Even when my son is 3, he wants to race up the steps. I should let him win. I'm not letting him win a damn thing. Sorry, not sorry. Okay. Anyway, there's a mental side of winning. Because if you're a bad team, and we've been a bad organization for a very long time, and a lot of these players have been a part of these last 2 7-10 seasons where, you know, things don't go well and you lose 4 or 5 games in a row. We did it in 2020, lost 5 in a row. Last year, we lost 4 in a row. Okay. When we were 2-2, we lost 4 in a row and we were 2-6, just like that. 2020, we were 1-0 and we lost 5 in a row, just like that. Okay. A lot of these guys were here for that. And so when you find yourself going down that slippery slope, you get into one of those games and you were leading and now you're losing and you can't get right. It's so easy to go, here we go again. But when you have confidence in your teammates, in yourself, that we can make enough plays to win the game, and the only way you're going to get that is by doing it. It changes the way you view trailing in a game, trailing late. You can love Taylor Heineke as much as you want, and I know a lot of those players love Taylor Heineke. They, in their minds, they're like, yeah, shit, we lost this game. You know, you get down by a certain amount. There's only so much Taylor can do. But with Carson Wentz, they know they have a shot. They're not going to win all of them. And he's got to be better. And he said this over and over again. I got to take care of the ball. We got to take care of these turnovers. I got to be better. That's what you want to hear. Accountability, something that we haven't heard enough of from our quarterbacks here in Washington. I think, and he wouldn't go as far as to say that this is the most talented. They keep insinuating this. It's true. He doesn't have to admit it. He's got guys he's played with that he doesn't want to show up, and that's fine. This is the most talented group of skill players he's ever played with in his career. Okay? High school, college, Philadelphia, Indianapolis. To me, it's not close. He knows it. He doesn't want to say it because he doesn't want to disrespect anybody that he's played with in the past. I get it. Okay? I totally understand. But the fact of the matter is, he's got 3 receivers that are dynamic. He's got 2 running backs that are dynamic. A third that's on the mend that'll be back at some point. He's got a tight end that isn't dynamic, but he's all reliable in Logan Thomas. He may be getting back a dynamic tight end. And he's got another young guy that's just scratching the surface. He doesn't know any better, okay? He's a young pup, but they threw him a screen, and he knew what to do with it, okay? There's a lot of talent around Carson Wentz. And something else he hasn't had a great deal of in his career is time. Time in the pocket. Time to survey the field. He was protected on Sunday for the most part. You know, there were a couple of breakdowns, you know, and Sam Cosmi got beat for a sack once, and, you know, he had to stiff arm a guy because Cosmi got out of his stance late once. You know, there was a little bit of pressure, but for the most part, there were some times where you're like, God damn, that pocket was just as clean as it gets. He definitely didn't have that last year in Indianapolis. That's for sure. Their pass blocking was atrocious. So I like this situation for him. I like where he is mentally. I like where he is in his career. That's the thing that people who have written him off or think he sucks, they're not accounting for. They're not taking that into consideration, that he's growing. All these experiences are helping shape and mold who he is as a player, his outlook on the game and what he feels like. Look, he's going to always be somewhat inconsistent from an accuracy standpoint. That's not going to change. But what has changed and what will allow him to be a better player is how he adapts and adjusts to the mistakes that are made. They're going to happen. But how he responds to those mistakes is going to be totally different than when he was in Philadelphia and when he was in Indianapolis. And I think that's what's going to make all the difference here in Washington, in addition to being around a team that's more talented offensively. That helps too. So anyway, I digress. Let's get to our first look at the Detroit Lions in week 2 in this matchup. So the Lions are a hungry team. I really truly feel like they are where we were last year, which is why it is important that we beat the Lions in this game, because they are what we were a season ago. Okay, they're in year 2 of their new head coach and this new rebuild and changing the culture. You saw Hard Knocks, a lot of you did, and so you understand how that process works. We went through this same thing last season that they're going through now. So, and remember, Ron said this about Jacksonville in week 1. Like, they are what we were, a couple of years ago, starting a brand new head coach, a GM that's finally got full autonomy to do what he wants to do. And you're trying to start all over, and you're trying to change the culture, and you're trying to make people forget about the past. That's where the Jaguars, that's where the Jaguars are. And the Lions, they're a year further along than the Jags, because the Jags are in year 1. They're in year 2, are the Lions. And we've gone through what they went through, or what they're going through now. We went through that last year of just trying to take the next step. So they want to beat us. Trust me. I mean, obviously, I've said this a million times, and all the Lions fans that I've talked to agree with this sentiment. If you're a Detroit Lions fan and you think your team is capable of winning 7-8 games this season, guess what? Washington is one of those 7 or 8 wins. The Giants are one of those 7 or 8 wins. The Bears are one of those 7, if not 2 of those 7 or 8 wins. You're looking at particular teams on the schedule and you're saying, hey, in order to get to XYZ amount of wins, we got to beat this team. Because we know we're not going to beat this team, or that team. Like, I'm pretty sure they said we're going to lose to Philadelphia week 1, because the outside perception of the Eagles, okay, oh my God. Like, I talked to these Lions fans and they're like, man, Philadelphia is really good. And I'm like, we talking about the same Eagles? And not to disrespect Philadelphia, because the Eagles are good, but I think some people are overrating the Eagles. Now, we're going to find out. And I talked to a Lions fan, and they said something that was really profound. He says, over the next month and a half or so, we're going to find out very quickly if Detroit was really good or we're really bad. Because if Philadelphia is really good, or if we being Detroit, are really bad. Because if Philadelphia is really good, that means Detroit is a lot better than people think. But if Philadelphia's 9-8 again, 10-7, they're okay. But that means you overrated how good that performance against Philadelphia was, because the Eagles, they're not that good. They're not as good as you thought. So they're looking at that game and they're saying, all right, that game was a measuring stick game. We feel like we came pretty close. So if we feel like the Eagles are way better than Washington and we almost beat Philadelphia, then we should be able to beat Washington at home. That's how they're feeling. And so, and if I were a Lions fan, I'd probably feel the same exact way. Here's something that you have to know. The Lions have players, okay? They're not more talented than us. I don't know where that narrative came from. I'll shoot that down immediately. Bang, bang. All right. 2 shots to the head of that bullshit. Now, that's dead, okay? However, they got talent. I'm glad we're getting to them before Jameson Williams comes back, okay? I'm like, yeah, let me get my Lions out of the way before they actually get some dudes out here that can absolutely blaze us. Now, let me get mine out the way now. But they do have TJ Hawkinson. They do have DeAndre Swift. They do have Amon-Ra St. Brown. They do have some guys offensively. Josh Reynolds doesn't suck. He did have a big drop, but Josh Reynolds doesn't suck. I don't know if Khalif Raymond is healthy or not. He's fast. That's one of the few guys on their team that can actually pick him up, put him down. I don't want you to sleep on these Lions. DeAndre Swift had 15 carries for 144 yards against the Eagles. Okay, he averaged almost 10 yards a carry against the Eagles. This guy is super talented. And you should know, we played against him in his rookie season and he ate our ass alive. He filleted us in 2020 to the point where we had to go to our 5-man. We only go to our 5-man defensive front when we can't stop you with 4. We did it against Cleveland. We had to do it against those Lions that year because we couldn't stop their running game. He was killing us. I am officially afraid of DeAndre Swift after what he did to us in his rookie season and what he's doing now. So, and I'm going to tell you this, I think the Lions can get after the quarterback. So this is going to be a great test for our offensive line. I really think that they've got some guys that can get after the quarterback on their defensive front. So I'm anxious to see if we, in fact, are about that life protecting Carson Wentz. I do think this is a good enough offensive line, but I want to see. They're going to be put to the test on Sunday. But if they just show the slightest bit of wanting to be aggressive in blitz, we should carve their secondary up because it's not that good. It's not that good. And I dare them to get aggressive because they put the shackles. I called him Mary on the podcast earlier because the Detroit Lions put the shackles on Devontae Smith in week 1. 3 targets, no catches, no yards. But A.J. Brown went to town. What can Brown do for you? 10 catches, 155 yards, and destroying the Lions secondary. That's what Brown did for the Eagles. If they so as much as sneeze at the hint of a blitz, we're going to eat their ass alive. We got too many weapons. This ain't a one-man show over here. So they better get pressure with 4 because if they got to bring more than 4, we're going to light their ass up. All right. So let's get to your comments and social media maneuvers. I'm a midnight marauder. Really do appreciate y'all coming and kicking it with the kid tonight. See what you guys have to say. And let's get to the comment section. So, got a super chat here from Trevor Patch to kick the night off. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Trevor Patch. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, your thoughts on Pat McAfee, words for us in Carson. Again, I don't get into that kind of stuff. Somebody sent it to me, though, so I saw it, okay? And my response is I don't have a response, okay? Everyone thinks they know when it comes to Carson Wentz. And, Pat McAfee is an Indianapolis Colts fan. He spent his entire NFL career there, so he probably watched them a lot more than any of us did. I've watched every Colts game, but I'm not living and dying with every Colts snap like he probably is, like how we are. So I wouldn't dare tell him that Carson Wentz isn't going to put you on a roller coaster. We went through one on Sunday, and that was his point, was like he was telling us, look, and I don't know all of the facts of what he said, prior to the comments he made today. I just know that he said, what did I tell you? I told you guys he was going to put you on a roller coaster, which is fine. I'm prepared for that. I told you guys that this was going to be a roller coaster, but it's going to be a fun roller coaster, okay? It's going to be a fun ride, okay? This is the thing that people have to understand, and this is why I enjoy talking to fans of teams that understand, teams that have sympathy for us because they've been through what we've been through, okay? Talking to these Lions fans, they're like, I'm talking to them about Jared Goff, and they're like, look, dude, look, Stafford we didn't have to worry about quarterback for a very long time. But before there was Stafford, it was bad. And when Stafford got hurt, it was bad. So we'll take Jared Goff. We don't want to go into the quarterback wilderness. It's not safe. And we've been wandering there for over 30 years. You know, with every so often a little brief period where we find a cabin or a tent somewhere to stay, but never have we actually gotten out of the woods. This is a chance. We'll see where it goes. Ultimately, this is the best thing we've had since Kirk Cousins. So we're elated. You can't make us feel bad about our quarterback situation right now. So, you know, Pat McAfee, I don't have any issues with what he said. I didn't take it as disrespect. I just put it in the category. I open up my file cabinet. I go through the files, and I store that away as another weak-ass Carson Wentz, criticism, and I put it in the file, and I shut the file cabinet. Okay, I don't chalk it. I don't put it in the disrespect file. I don't put it in there. I just put it in another weak-ass Carson Wentz, conversation. Put it in there. Shut the file cabinet. Keep it moving. So, anyway, I digress. Dynamic Dave, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Dynamic Dave, writes, we let DeAndre Carter go. Who scored TD for Bolts? Yeah, he was good for them. I said this at the beginning of the season. If kickoff or punt return turns into a problem for us, then I'm going to have a problem with them not re-signing DeAndre Carter. But so far, no problems. Dax Milne looks good. I watched the all-22s. I never watched the all-22s of any punts or, kickoffs, things of that nature. I actually watched the punt returns from Dax because he was impressive. I told you guys this much after the game. Like, Dax Milne was really impressive. And he was this close to breaking it, man. This close to taking that thing distance. If he could have gotten one block from, I forgot what guy it was, but he was kind of just in the way. Had that guy went and sealed off that defender, and he was able to squeeze through that little gap, there was nobody else there to stop him. It was a great return, and he showed some moves, man. He had a little bit of wiggle to him too. So I'm not tripping right now. Dax was wide open, so he could have contributed as a receiver, but Carson didn't give him an opportunity because he airmailed it. But I think we're fine. I'm not tripping about it. You only worry about that stuff when it becomes a problem. It's not a problem. Same thing I said when we moved on from Peyton Barber. I said, I'm not tripping. It's not like Peyton Barber is, some kind of dynamic, we got to have him back. We're not getting rid of a really good football player. We're getting rid of a dude that is a niche football player that carved out a specific role for himself. I said, the only way that I'm going to be upset, is if it really comes back to bite us in the ass. And it didn't. There were times where we didn't convert and it was frustrating, but it wasn't enough to the point where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe they got rid of Peyton Barber. Same thing with DeAndre Carter. I think it's going to ultimately be a situation like that, where you're like, they could have used him, but yeah, we're fine. We're good. We're not tripping. Malachi Malik, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, it's just something about that hat that says 1-0. Say it with me, Lou. Feels good, with a side of you already know. Next up, the baby Simbas. I'm ready to do that thing, man. I'm ready to go ahead and make it 2-0. But I I understand the task that is in front of us. And I want to make it 2 weeks in a row that we take care of business on Sunday, and then we have an opportunity to sit back and watch a family member potentially struggle and lose. We saw it with Dallas on Sunday night, and we may have a chance to see it with the Philadelphia Eagles. They've got a Monday night date with the Minnesota Vikings. It's a doubleheader, remember. The first of which, Titans-Bills on at like 7:15, and then the Vikings at Eagles at 8:30. So I know which games most of you will be watching. I will be watching both. But I would love to get the win Sunday and then be like, oh yeah, let's go see what the Eagles talking about on Monday night. That would be so, and because again, remember, we got them in week 3. So you would love to set up. I told you when we were in the offseason, when the schedule came out and I started talking crazy and just spiking the punch and making it pure alcohol, essentially, I said, there's a chance we could get to week 3 and this could be a big matchup. 2-0 Washington against 2-0 Philadelphia. And we got a chance at home to go to 3-0. And then I obviously I couldn't know that Dak Prescott would be injured by the time we got to Dallas. But I'm like, hey, no telling what Dallas does. That could be 3-0 Dallas against 3-0 Washington. That could be 2-1 Dallas against 3-0 Washington. Big game early in the season. Now all of a sudden, if we can beat Detroit, and I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't want to do this. I'm not going to do this. La, 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 la. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it because I'm going to go down a rabbit hole that I don't need to go. And then that's how you get yourself into trouble. Okay. I've got tunnel vision. I need to stay where I am. And where I am is focused on Detroit. Baby Simba's up next. I'm with you. Let's do it. Derek B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, why don't we cut the DN on the screen interception? I mean, you can cut the defensive end there, but that's usually not standard practice because it's not a quick hitter. The screen isn't like a wide receiver screen, or it's not like a slant, something where you don't want, it's a 3-step drop and you don't want, you invite that guy up the field. That's why you don't cut him. You want that guy to feel like he's winning. You just want it to be like a bad pass set. You don't want to be to the point where you don't touch them. Now they know something's up. They know it's never that easy. You want it to be like, oh shit, he beat me. Make him feel like he's winning, and then you give him a nice little push at the very end, and you take off running, trying to get to the second level and get some blocks out in front of that guy. You rarely see guys get cut on a screen, wide receiver screen or even a tight end screen. It happens sometimes, but it's not often because that's usually not the dot. Because you don't want a whole bunch of bodies on the ground right in front of where you're trying to throw the football. Generally, you want those guys up the field and out of the way, so it's an easy throw. But I mean, he made a hell of a play. I mean, I don't want to sit here and act as if, this shit happens all the time. He made a hell of a play. A hell of a play. Take Command for Life. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Take Command for Life. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB writes. Excited for the Lions game. Let them sleep on us. Hey, man. They catching Z's right now. And I'm all good with it. I'm not going to continue to bang my head up against a brick wall. All right. I'm going to let them feel the way that they feel. And all we can do, and again, I talked about wanting to be petty. I can't be petty if we don't handle our end of the bargain, which is winning. Okay. You don't get to be petty after beating Jacksonville. Okay. The only thing I get to do is if you came at me sideways and your team didn't get it done, and I'm like, yo, and this is generally the stance I take is, hey, why are you worried about what we got going on over here? Worry about what you got going on, okay? If you're a Packers fan, I'll see you in week 6 or 7. Don't worry. Like, I'm not tripping. I'll see you in week 7. Like, you don't got to worry about what we got going on over here. We'll see you eventually. Eagles fans, I'm not tripping. I'm not worried about what you got going on over there. I'll see you in week 3, and I'll see you again in week 10. I'm not tripping. So I get a kick out of everyone that has something to say. Obviously, you got to show them they don't believe in what we're selling. And they shouldn't believe in what we're selling after Jacksonville. If there's one takeaway from what they saw against Jacksonville, that, oh, maybe their offense might be really good. But there were opportunities galore for Jacksonville's offense against our defense. Don't kid yourself. Let's not act like our defense was out here stifling Jacksonville and, that led to the victory. Jacksonville had every opportunity to nail us to the floorboard of the Ford, and they didn't do it. And by the time we realized what they were trying to do, we woke the hell up and we put them away for good. But they had every opportunity to take that nail gun and nail our ass to the floorboard of the Ford. And they didn't do it. So we want respect. We're going to have to take it. Ain't nobody giving us nothing. I wouldn't have it in any other way. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Bostic versus Golf 2.0. Better not watch JG walk in on the touchdown. I better not see Bostic on the damn field, period. That's what I better not see. 16 Devil Doc, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Shout out to your wife, who writes, Lou, you had me laughing my ass off during your overtime show, showing confidence on the outside but crying on the inside. You the man, Lou. Hey, we've all been there at some point in our lives where you on the outside exude confidence, but on the inside you're screaming like, "Oh my God, somebody help!" But you can't never let them see you sweat. That's how I was feeling on Monday. My wife was sitting there. I can't let my wife see me sweating and tripping. What you think gonna happen? Man, come on, man. I already know what's gonna happen. Inside, I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna lose this game. They are so trash. They're gonna lose this game. Anyway, clapping any cheeks for the dub. That sounds like a stripper name. Something that I would hear from a stripper. Anyway, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Clapping any cheeks for the dub, writes, top 5 dead or alive, Lou. Oh, Lord, he's got you in on it now. 35, 5, and 5K. So you've upped it from 4K to 5K. Okay. Again, he's already 2/3 of the way or 2/5 of the way to the 5 interceptions in just one game. So, and I don't think he's a high volume turnover guy. So I don't think that's going to be the norm where he's throwing 2 interceptions. And I don't think the norm for him is throwing 4 touchdown passes. But with these weapons, who knows? Could be a steady diet of 2 and 3 and 4s, or maybe not 4s, but maybe 2 and 3s. We'll see. Rob Yu, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Rob Yu, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, writes, Lou, if D-Payne plays this consistently for the entire year, there's no choice but to pay the man. He was dominant Sunday. But not only was he dominant in a way that we haven't seen him be dominant to this point of his career, and that was as a pass rusher. He was the most consistent pass rusher, along with, get this, Casey Toohill. Casey had himself a whale of a ball game on Sunday. That used to be the running joke. Remember when I would say, and they put Casey Toohill in the game. Remember, that was always my line. He was dominant on Sunday. Maybe that was a byproduct of him being familiar with Brandon Sheriff, having gone against him in practice essentially his entire career. I don't know. Maybe there was some familiarity there that made him comfortable, but I saw something from him on Sunday that I hadn't really seen, consistently. And we can't say that it's consistent this year because it's only been one game. It's a small sample size, but that's what I've been looking for from Daron Payne, is that right there. If he can give me that kind of performance for 10 to 12 games out of this season, that's the guy that I don't have a problem spending the number 13 overall pick on. Because if we get that from him in 10 to 12 games this season, he's going to end up with somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 to 12 sacks. He was that good. So I just want to see him continue to do that. The problem with Duran isn't that he's not talented. The problem isn't talent. It's never been talent. It's the consistency with which he flashes the talent. He's going to show up every week and he's going to do his job every week. But you don't get paid big money in this league to just show up and do your job. You get paid big money when you show up and you exceed the expectations that are being placed on you. When you go out and make plays. That's what he did on Sunday. I want to see it again on Sunday. And then again the following Sunday. So we'll see. Red Wing 01. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Red Wing 01 writes, we have the chance to dominate the trenches. Lions are without Romeo Okwara, Josh Pascal at defensive end, Levi Onwuzurike at defensive tackle, and Vaitai at right guard, with Frank Ragnow hurt too. Set the tone up front. Again, we'll see how injured these guys truly are. Okay. We saw Ragnow with the ankle and foot injury. I think it was ankle to foot or some ankle and groin or foot and groin, whatever it is. Until he's not playing, he's playing. Same with DeAndre Swift, who's got an ankle. He's going to play. Until these guys aren't playing, they're playing. So we'll see what happens. But I always feel like the game starts in the trenches. We go from there, but it starts up front. And we'll discuss that more as we get deeper into the conversation about the Lions as the week progresses. All right. Let's see. Got one here from Red Wing 01. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Red Wing 01 who writes, Lions already had the worst interior defensive line in the NFL, and their normally good edge depth is hurting. We can abuse them in the run game and make them blitz us. I would love to see our run game be more consistent because it sets up so many opportunities for shots down the field if we can establish a consistent run game. That's something that we really didn't do against Jacksonville. It was solid. It wasn't terrible. Okay. I don't want you to think that our run game was horrible, but it wasn't consistent enough. So I'd like to see us establish a consistent run game against Detroit and set the tone early. And then that will allow us to go play action fake, make them bring extra defenders into the box and potentially get some one-on-one looks. I'd love to take advantage of it. So we'll see what happens. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Metaphor, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, writes, Irsay's Colts losing this week to Jags would be sweet. Wouldn't it be? It would be so sweet. Be so sweet. And I'll have my eye on that one because we just beat them. They haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014, and they've had like 5 different quarterbacks try and have them all fail, including Andrew Luck, Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, Jacoby Brissett. The list goes on and on and on with those guys. So I'd love nothing more than to see Matt Ryan, who should have lost to the Houston Texans in week 1, love nothing more than to see them go to Jacksonville, struggle again, and find a way to lose. But we'll see. I'm not going to do the whole rooting against Indianapolis thing because I don't care for real. Like, we can stick it to them. Again, we have them on the schedule. We can stick it to them in week number 8 when we see them or whatever it is. Okay, I think it is week 8. We can stick it to them then. And the best revenge is for us to be good and Carson Wentz to play well. If they play well too, good for them. But we can prove that their situation was toxic and wasn't good for him by him coming here and playing well. You know, whether they struggle or not is on them. But if he plays well, what does that say about your organization? Here, if he plays well here and we win, what does that say about Indianapolis? I don't know. I'll let everybody else decide. It would be sweet, though. And I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't going to be keeping an eye on that situation. Red Wings 01. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Carson gonna prove he should have been number 1 overall in 2016. Yeah, I'm digging into my drawer and pulling out all the receipts. Revenge tour continues. Oh wow, I didn't have this one on the revenge tour. I didn't have this one up there with the golf angle. But if you want to add it to the list, knock yourself out. I mean, my revenge tour list doesn't have tickets for the Detroit location. But I mean, look, if you're trying to sell those tickets, man, knock yourself out. Good luck with that. You really dug deep in the drawer for that one. Like, you had to go way back. Some of that stuff doesn't even fit anymore. You should probably give it away to Goodwill, but you went back in the drawer a little bit, man. I'm surprised you kept it. I hope you laminated that receipt. That's an old one, man. It's a real old one. I ain't mad at you though. Quentin Ruiz, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Quentin writes, Sunday is my B-day. We better win. Ain't nothing like a birthday game. Every year, I'm pretty sure you got a birthday game. Every single year, wherever your birthday falls, you designate that the birthday game. I would imagine that Washington, because your birthday falls relatively early in the season, I would imagine that your birthday game has sucked for the last decade plus. We're probably like 2 and 8 on your birthday in the last 10 years. But good luck to you, man. I know I've done the Sean Taylor game in late November, and numbers aren't terrible, but they're not great. It's not a winning record, that's for sure. Anyway, good luck with that, Quentin, and happy belated. I'll give it to you early, man. Happy birthday. John Perez, my guy JP, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy John Perez writes, Lou, watching Wentz lead us to victory warmed my heart. I wanted to see him do it again, though. I want to see him do it again, though. And I can finally say we got dogs at wide receiver. And that's why, and I remember someone bringing this up directly after the game and saying, hey, this feels different than the win against the Giants in week 2 last year, the week 4 victory against Atlanta. And I said, the reason it feels different is because this feels sustainable. That didn't feel sustainable. Taylor Heineke pulling magic out of his ass. Remember the YOLO ball he threw against the Falcons where he was getting yanked down and he just threw the bitch up in the air and Terry ended up coming back and catching it for the touchdown? That shit isn't sustainable. Taylor Heineke making all kinds of crazy ass plays. That shit wasn't sustainable. This is sustainable. Carson Wentz to Jahan Dotson, Carson Wentz to Terry McLaurin, Carson Wentz to, Curtis Samuel. Never, ever trust a man with 2 first names. Carson Wentz to Logan Thomas, Carson Wentz to Antonio Gibson, to J.D. McKissick, to Cole Turner, to Amani Rodgers, to Cam Sims. This is legitimately sustainable. So it feels different. And yeah, we got dogs, not just at receiver either. We got dogs all over and our dogs, they don't just bite. They don't just bark anymore. They bite. For a long time, we made a lot of noise, man. We had some dogs that made a lot of noise, but they weren't worth a damn. Won't nobody scared of them. Bop them right in their nose. Bop! Now we got some dogs. They got them sharp teeth, those sharp canine teeth. And they got the little drool coming out the side of the mouth. The dogs I'm talking about. The ones where they look like Spike, ready to take a chunk of your ass cheek right out of there. Yeah. Our dogs bite. They bark and they bite. Viciously. Dejan Bell, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Dejan writes, hey, Lou, what up? What's up, Deshaun? It does feel like it's been a while, man. Glad to hear from you. He says, they say they block. It's time to slide and F them up. Hashtag take command. Hashtag NFC East champs. Hey, it's only one way to get what we want, and that's to take it. Ain't nobody giving us nothing. We ain't asking nobody for nothing. We just taking it. The time to be nice and cordial is over with. We taking shit now. You either lay down, you either get out, or you lay down. But it's a wrap now. I'm at this point, each game, I'm going into it with the same mindset. F these mother effers up. You know, F them up. Put some points on the board. Blitz if you have to. And I already know there's going to be a couple of games this year where our defense ain't going to be worth a damn. And we're going to have to beat somebody 38-35. And I'm prepared to do that. And in years past, we weren't. We couldn't go there. We couldn't get into a shootout with nobody. If we have to get into a shootout, I feel like we're prepared to do it. That's a beautiful feeling, man. I'm not saying that's what I want to happen, because I would much rather the defense hold up their end of the bargain and not put us in a position where we feel like, hey, we got to score because the defense ain't stopping them. I would love it if, and that was part of the thing on Sunday, that I felt like the defense didn't feel the pressure to have to go out there and get us out. They could just go out there and play their game. They didn't have to do anything ridiculous, you know, otherworldly. They could just go out and do their job because, hey, if we do our job, they're going to do their job. The offense is going to take care of business. It's so different when you're afraid of making a mistake because you know if we give up points, they ain't going and getting the shit back for us. Hell, they might go 3 and out and put us back on the field. I think there was only one. I'm going to look it up. I think there was only one possession in the game where we went 3 and out. I'm going to look it up. I could be wrong about that. But I really, truly feel like it was one game, one possession, and it was in the first half, the third possession of the game. I think we went 3 and out. Other than that, I think we got at least one first down on just about every possession. I could be wrong about that, but we're going to find out right now. I'm not going to guess. We're just going to look it up. Let's see. So the third possession was a 3 and out. 5 plays on the first possession of the second half, 5 plays. So that we got a first down somewhere. Let's see. Yeah, we got a first down on that possession. We got a first down on let's see. Yeah, we got a first down on that possession and then Wentz through the interception. The only other possession where the offense wasn't on the field for at least a minimum of 5 plays, 4 plays, I should say, was when he threw the interception on the very first play on the screen. Other than that, every possession was at least 4 plays, and we at least got one first down. So there was only one 3 and out is essentially what I'm telling you in the entire game. So this offense has the ability. And, you know, when I was watching the film, it's funny because sometimes you forget certain details of possessions. And the second possession, remember we had the 10-yard loss, or was that the first possession of the game? I think it was the second possession. We had the Jahan Dotson 10-yard loss on the little trickeration reverse. And that was a first down play, so it's 2nd and 20. It ain't like a holding penalty on first down where you still got 3 downs to get 20 yards. You got 2 downs to get 20 yards. And the next play was a little dump down to Curtis Samuel underneath, and he did the rest and got 10 yards. So he got us back to the original line of scrimmage and made it 3rd and 10. And then Wentz, and this is something we didn't talk about. I think like 1 or 2 of you might have brought it up, but Wentz's hard count, next level. Okay, we're not used to getting free 5 yards on a hard count. We're used to being a team that jumps off sides due to somebody else's hard count. When's the last time we had a game end with our quarterback barking out a hard count and the other team jumping off sides. We get to 3rd and 10. Wentz gets them to jump off sides. It's now 3rd and 5, and then he completes a pass for the first down. Just little things like that, little subtleties like that, man. Anyway, how did I even get on that topic? I don't know. Red Wings 01, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, I was watching your breakdown of Jeter after I read the Steelers UDFA report on him. So when you were talking, I was like, that doesn't sound right, LOL. Yeah, I didn't look at anything from Pittsburgh. Nothing. I looked at everything from Michigan and him coming into the NFL because he was in the 2021 draft. He didn't get drafted, but he was in the 2021 draft. So it's not that far removed. So I just went straight to the draft, not knowing. And obviously, when you get in an NFL program, you get into weight training, everything changes, right? And I think he put on some weight, and he's a different dude, man. He's a big guy. Like, I totally underestimated just how big he was. And part of me didn't do as much research as I should have because I didn't anticipate him, contributing on a major level. I kind of treated him like a lot of guys that we've signed. Remember when we signed Lamar Miller? And a lot of people got excited. Oh, Lamar Miller. I'm like, bro, Lamar Miller will barely see the field, if at all. Okay? Trust me. He's just here as a break in case of an emergency type of player. Okay, don't worry about him. And that's kind of how I was treating these two defensive tackles. Like, they ain't playing for real. But then, listening to Ron, I'm like, dude, who else do you have? You got the Bama Wall, and then you got Daniel Wise. That's it. It's not like you got another guy. You need one of these guys to step in and be the 4th defensive tackle. That guy sounds like it's going to be Donovan Jeter. So I should have done more work. But, this whole, going young thing and plucking guys off of other teams' practice squads, something that I have to get used to. But I knew that's what they were going to do. But we'll see. We'll see. I definitely was way off base with him for sure. For sure. And that's why I had to make sure I straightened that out. Like, I had to say, all right, guys, I led you astray here. So let me correct something that I said yesterday because I was way off base. So moist it melts in your mouth. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. He's talking about my carrot cake, guys. Relax. No pause necessary. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, got any carrot cake, Lou? Asking for a friend. Look, and he even asks for some. No, that's a Thanksgiving specialty for me only because if I made that thing year round, I'd be 300 pounds. Okay. It's just a one time of the year thing because it's too damn good. And I don't need to be eating that year round. So I have none now. But I'll tell you one of these days when I get out of the house and we link, for something, I'm going to bring some carrot cake for you guys so you can try it. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Metaphor, who writes, don't say we got guns and ish around B-Rob, okay, Lou? That was never my thing for us. That was my thing for the Giants. We do have guns and shit, but yeah, that's not, the type of lingo that we need to be using around these parts after what, has transpired. But we got a lot of weapons. I don't know if that's a good one either, but you get where I'm going. We got a lot of stuff. All right. We got a lot of stuff. Quinn Ruiz, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, did you happen to see how Sweat is doing on the film? if you're referring to that, he played well, very well. I think a lot of what he does, and I brought this up in the film breakdown, I won't say too much, but he's one of those unsung heroes that he does a lot of stuff that doesn't show up in the stat sheet. I'll give you an example of one play that I pointed out on the film breakdown. It's a run play very early in the game. You may be able to visualize it. It was literally the second play of the game. So the first two plays, if you recall, of the game were both penalties. The first one was on us, Benjamin St. Juste holding in the secondary. And then the second play was an illegal formation by the Jaguars, but it was a run play. And on that play, Sweat takes on a double team. And he stands those two guys up, stands his ground, sets a physical edge. And what that allows is for William Jackson III to come up and make a tackle, which he doesn't. He absolutely whiffs. He comes in like a banshee screaming out of hell, head down, doesn't see anything he hits, and he hopes for the best. And he goes flying right by James Robinson like a torpedo. But Cole Holcomb also was allowed to roam free on the play because of what Montez Sweat did, taking on two. And he held on to that tight end long enough so that Cole Holcomb could get by him, get to James Robinson, and pretty much tackle him for no gain. That doesn't show up in the stat sheet, but that's Montez Sweat being Montez Sweat. There's another play down by the goal line. Jaguars, I don't think it would have been a touchdown, but I don't know. One missed tackle and Christian Kirk is in. One, just like Curtis Samuel did, one stop on a dime and guy falls off of you and he spins into the end zone. And this is on the same possession where they ultimately went for it on fourth down and didn't get it. Christian Kirk was open, but I think he was going to be stopped short of the end zone. Who's to say? Sweat gets his hands up, deflects the pass. We'll never have to find out. Like, it's just little things like that, that Montez Sweat brings to the table. And he's still this close to getting a sack. Still this close. They may have given him a piece of a sack in this game. I don't think he actually got a sack in the game, but he was a part of a number of quarterback hits. Let's check and see if they gave him any credit for a sack. I know he was a part of that one sack that they took from – that really should have been Jamin Davis's sack by himself, but obviously it was a penalty, so even Jamin Davis didn't get credit for that. Sweat had 3 quarterback hits, but no sacks recorded, but he was consistently in the backfield, getting to Trevor Lawrence and affecting him. On one of those deep balls that was incomplete, he got to Trevor Lawrence, and I think it was his activity that forced, Trevor Lawrence to be inaccurate on that deep ball when Marvin Jones was behind William Jackson III. So Sweat was really good. All right. Michael White, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Michael White, writes, "What up, Lou? What's up, Mike?" Says, "Curious to hear your thoughts on this. If the turnovers continue and the defense continues to be shaky, but we still win, will 2-0 feel as strong as it should be?" Yes. Now, I will tell you this. Eventually, that's going to catch up to you and bite you in the ass. But you continue to harp on fixing the mistakes while winning. That's what you want to do. Because I'm going to tell you what that would also do. That would also build confidence. Like, we don't want to be sloppy. We don't want to turn it over. But guess what, guys? We're good enough to overcome mistakes. Like last year when we turned it over against New Orleans, when we turned it over against Kansas City, when we turned it over against Denver, when you didn't get in the end zone against Green Bay, like all these games that we had opportunities in but didn't get it done, you could start with, hey, y'all turned it over too much. Y'all not good enough to do that and still win. And I said this week 1, I said, we are not the Bills. We cannot turn it over, 3 or 4 times and expect to win. And what did we do? We turned it over 3 times and won. I was shocked. I'm not going to lie to you. Generally speaking, you turn it over that much in this league, you're not going to win. But the only reason we got away with that was because we were playing Jacksonville. and Jacksonville did some Jacksonville things in the game. I don't need to go through them. You watched the game. You saw them with your own eyes. You know exactly what I'm referring to. So you can't expect to do that again and have similar results. Now, granted, it is Detroit. That was the number 1 pick the last 2 years. Detroit was the number 2 pick last year. So maybe they'll self-destruct too. Maybe they'll make a couple of mistakes that aid and abet us in another victory. Again, I'm not turning down any help, any gifts that are being handed out. I gladly accept. Gladly accept. So we'll see. It'll feel damn good to win, no matter how it comes. Obviously, you want to clean it up, and you'll hear them say the same thing that they said after this game. Obviously, you want to clean up the mistakes, but we'll take the win any way we can get it. That's how it would be. I would feel just as good, but I would say, hey, can't do that against Philadelphia and think you're going to win. Can't do that against Tennessee and think you're going to beat them. So we'll see. But a win's a win's a win in the National Football League. Let's see. Red Wings 01. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Red Wings 01 writes, they're going to have to respect DJ Chark's speed. I mean, right now, he's not a big part of their offense. If we're being honest. Let me see how many targets he had in the game on Sunday. I think Josh Reynolds is a bigger part of their offense than DJ Chark is right now, but I could be wrong about that. Let's take a look. DJ Chark can definitely run, but I don't think he's a big part of their game plan right now. But that could change. That could all change. So DJ Chark, I lied. He had 8 targets. He had the second most targets for the Lions in that game. 4 catches, 52 yards. So he'll be a guy that we definitely have to key in on because he can definitely run. So can Khalif Raymond. Those are the 2 guys that have true difference-making speed. But Amon-Ra St. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown is what Christian Kirk was for the Jags, and that's who killed us. It wasn't the fast, guy. It was the shifty slot man in Christian Kirk that ate us alive for 6 catches, 117 yards. So I'm worried about Amon-Ra St. Brown more so than anybody else, but we'll see what happens. Let's see. We got any more supers? Got this one here from We Clapping Day Zilla Cheeks. I don't even know what that means. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, couldn't save your boy Rio today, Hanlu. Yes, sir. He got luck. and the bad part about it was I gave him the game. Okay. I can't make you drink. I can lead you to water. I can't make you drink. Okay. I gave him the game. I told him what was about to go down. He saw it with his own eyes, and he still fell for the banana in the tailpipe. I can't help him. I can't help him. I can't help him. Oh, man. 16 Devil Doc, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, if we lose Scott Turner, we may go for his dad reunited. I don't think Norv is coming out of retirement. I think he's coached his last, games in the NFL. My hope is, and I was thinking about this today when I was watching the film, because, Scott Turner drew up some great designs, and it got me to thinking, like, yo, somebody's gonna take notice of this dude, and it can happen overnight. If Wentz has his career resurrected this year, people around the league are going to take notice. That's just how this thing works. My hope is that somebody on this staff is like a protege or a guy that is really, and I love our quarterbacks coach, Ken Zampese, but he's been an offensive coordinator before, you know? And I don't know if he has the same philosophy as Scott Turner. I don't know if that's the case. I'm talking about that young up and coming guy that's normally it's the quarterbacks coach. That's where these guys hang out at. And we've got an older quarterbacks coach. So I don't know if that guy exists on the roster as on the coaching staff rather. So it'd be interesting to see what direction they went in should that come about. Because like we keep talking about Chris Harris. If anything happens to Jack Del Rio, we feel like we need to move on from Jack. There's Chris Harris on the roster, on the coaching staff that we feel like can replace him, that would get an opportunity. I don't feel like there's a young guy on the offensive side that would be ready to step into that role. We got a bunch of veteran coaches, I feel like, on the offensive side of the ball. So I don't know. We'd have to probably go outside the building is what I'm hinting at. But he's got to get it done first. We're getting way ahead of ourselves. I think he will. Jensen Richards, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Jensen Richards writes, what do you think this offense can do with a healthy B-Rob and rookie Cole Turner at tight end? Seems like a lot of mouths to feed potentially. That's the way you want it. Carson said something that I thought was really interesting at the podium today, where he pretty much said, I have the utmost confidence in every single guy out there, so I never feel the need to force it to anybody. Everybody out there on the field is a playmaker. How many times can you say that? I was watching the Raiders, and Devontae Adams got like 18 targets. And when it wasn't Devontae Adams, it was Darren Waller. And when it wasn't Darren Waller, it was Hunter Renfrow. They don't have anybody else. That's it. They gotta throw it to one of those three guys. When the Chiefs last year, really the last 2 years for the Chiefs, it was either Tyreek Hill or it was Travis Kelce. Now, they had DeMarcus Robinson and they had Mecole Hardman, but those guys were inconsistent. They weren't reliable targets. It was really a two-man show. The reason the Chiefs look like they're very dangerous this year, they're back to what I said was their most dominant offensive team to me was 2019 when they won the Super Bowl. 18 was pretty damn good too, but 19 was that. Remember what they did in the playoffs that year? They fell behind Houston like 20-7 and then scored like 40 unanswered points or something crazy. And like 30 of them was like in the second quarter before halftime. They were trailing like 20-7. And by the time we got to halftime, they were up by like 2 touchdowns or something crazy like that. They're back to that now because of how many weapons. Back then, they had Samuel Watkins to go along with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. So there was just so many weapons. That's where the Chiefs are now, with all the guys that they brought in. Sky Moore and Juju Smith-Schuster and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. And, of course, still having Travis Kelce and still having Mecole Hardman. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire is dynamic out of the backfield. This guy, Isaiah Pacheco, looks like a problem as a pass-catching back. They just got all these weapons. Remember Jody Fortson? You should from the preseason game. He kicked our ass. Yeah, he's a problem at the tight end position as well. They got so many weapons. It's not even funny. And everybody gets to eat. And so 1 week it'll be Juju Smith-Schuster. The next week it might be Sky Moore. The week after that, it's going to be Travis Kelce every week. But somebody is going to be the supporting, character in that, supporting role actor in that movie every week is going to be a new supporting cast member. I think it's going to be the same thing here, except we don't have Terry doesn't necessarily have to be like Travis Kelce is in that starring role every week. As we saw this week, Terry had 2 catches. Now, they were 2 impactful catches, Okay, his first catch, I don't know if you guys recall, but it was on a 3rd and 8, and it was a 1-yard pass, and he had to make 2 guys miss to get to the sticks. And it was a huge play on the second possession of the game that kept that drive alive and gave us a chance to get in the end zone. Now, obviously, DeJuan Smoot had to roughen the passer on that second drive that kept it alive, or else we would have settled for a field goal. But we're not even at that point if Terry doesn't make that Herculean effort to get the first down by breaking 2 tackles and then getting to the sticks. So his 2 catches were impactful. But it was 2 catches. It wasn't 8. But then this week against Detroit, Terry could have 8 catches for 117 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then next week, the week after that, it could be Jahan Dotson, going crazy for 9 catches, 172 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then after that, it could be Cam Sims with 4 catches for 72 yards, including a big, 33-yard touchdown grab. Like, we don't know who it's going to be every week, and that is a beautiful feeling. Cole Turner, I think when he comes back this week, I'm so excited. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. I can't wait to see him get out there. And he might not even get a target. He might just be on the field. We may come after the game and say, damn, did Cole Turner play today? Yeah, he was a ghost. I'm just excited. I'll be looking for him. I'll be checking for him. But I think he adds another dimension to this offense. Again, another guy with size that helps you down in the red zone. Love it. And so, again, every time Carson throws up one of these YOLO balls to a tight end, I just always think of Cole Turner. Like, he threw a corner route to Logan Thomas, and the safety was all over Logan. And, I was just like, hey, Logan, just don't let that shit get picked off. And he did. In my mind, I'm like, yo, what if that was Cole Turner, man? Maybe he goes and skies and takes that bitch out of the air. I don't know. I could be really putting this dude on the pedestal and making him out to be something that he's really not. I really could be doing that to Cole Turner. But I've created this fallacy in my mind. Maybe it is a fallacy. But I've created this vision of who he is in my mind, and this dude is like a big weapon for us, not just in the red zone either. So we'll see. Obviously, Brian Robinson, I think he is the answer to our inconsistency in the run game questions that we have. When he comes back, I think they're less 0 and -1 yard runs. I think there are more 2 and 5 and 7 yard runs consistently. And so I think he stabilizes the offense. Not that, it's unstable right now, but it keeps you ahead of the sticks. So I think he will add another dimension to the offense. For sure. Joe Rockhead J, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, salutes Commander-in-Chief Lou. Likewise. Ironically, Wentz's first game is almost exactly what I expected from Fitzpatrick. We killing these Lions like Samson. All right. I never expected any of that from Ryan Fitzpatrick. None of it. But a lot of you did. A lot of you did. Did y'all hear the Ryan Fitzpatrick interview with my man that used to be on ESPN, Dan Le Batard? He was on his show. They asked him about the water slide thing. It has to be true because he got way too bent out of shape about it. Has to be true. I believe it anyway. I digress. Let's see. Joe Rockhead J, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Joe Rockhead J, who writes, one thing I know and try to remember, actual football games are not collections of highlights. It's all lights. Yes. And, that's why I feel like film is important, especially when you're evaluating, college prospects. But also when you're watching these games, it's easy to get caught up in the big plays. Like you watch Sports Center or you watch, Football Night in America as you're preparing for Sunday Night Football. They're just going to show you the highlights. But I can't just go off of that. That's why I have to go back and watch the entire game, every single snap, because I need to know what the hell is going on. That's not suffice for me. I can't tell you what such and such is doing by just watching a few plays and determining, oh man, they're killing it. Are they really? Like, you had to watch our game to understand just how bad Jacksonville, is and how much they helped us win this football game. Like, as happy as I am, I can't overstate that, and I can't dismiss the fact that Jacksonville was a huge part of the reason we won the game on Sunday. You can't just dismiss that. You turn it over 3 times, you're supposed to lose. And the reason we didn't is because Jacksonville made mistakes that allowed us to win the football game. And yeah, we took this shit, because you can make mistakes and the other team can make mistakes and you could not take advantage of it. We did that last year. New Orleans turned it over twice in like the first quarter, and I don't think we did anything with it. As a matter of fact, I know one possession we gave it right back to them in the red zone. He threw up a ridiculous back shoulder fade, to Curtis Samuel, like a jump ball. It wasn't even a back shoulder fade, like a jump ball to Curtis Samuel. Like, where's Curtis Samuel jumping? He's not even healthy. What are you doing? Got picked up. I remember that Tampa game. We turned Brady over a couple of times early, and we didn't do anything with the first one. And the second one, we got to go for it on 4th down. We can't. I think we got a field goal out of the first one, and you're like, look, if we only get a field goal out of this second joint, we in trouble. And we ended up going for it on 4th down. We ended up getting the touchdown. And that's how we had that 13-0 lead. So you could not do anything with the turnovers and the mistakes, but we actually took advantage of them. So credit to us for doing that. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, my guy. Big Money Sonny writes, hashtag we clapping gorilla cheeks and hashtag top 5 dead or alive. That's our initial anthems, Lou. You can't deny it, Lou. Oh yeah. And hashtag D's nuts cherry squad 2-0. There's a lot going on in that comment. There's a lot going on in that comment. A lot of hashtags, a lot of stuff going on there. What I can't deny is that we out for blood this year, man. That's what we can't deny. This is a hungry fan base. We want it so bad we could taste it. And teams like Detroit are standing in the way. If we really are serious, we can't let Detroit stop us. Anyway, I digress. Harry Anus, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, Lou. We are starting 4-0. It's very possible. Look, I'm scared, and it's one game at a time. I'm not getting into that's off-season stuff where we talk reckless about this, that, and once you get in season, I'm one game at a time. I'm focused on Detroit. But there's potential, but I don't want to get into that. Because we can sit here and talk for 30, 45 minutes about what it could be, and then we could go out on Sunday and not get it done, and all of that was for naught. I'd rather just take care of business, and then we can have some of those conversations. The more we win, the more reckless we can get with the conversations that we have. Then we can start throwing around the P word frivolously. We ain't there yet. We ain't there yet. I hope you're right, though. TP Legendary, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. TP Legendary writes, what up, Lou? What's up, TP? Says, it's up and stuck this year. I'm ready, man. I'm ready for this organization to turn it up and not look back, but 1 year at a time, because we've had solid seasons before in the past, and I've talked about how does this organization handle success. I want to see in season how they handle success, in games how they handle success. We were up 14-3 and we didn't handle it well. We fumbled. We went to sleep on offense. We turned the ball over. We squandered an 11-point lead and turned it into an 8-point deficit. We did not handle the success of being up early well. But we came back and we won. A lot of questions being asked this week about how it feels to win in week 1. Could you be 2-0, first time since 2011? Are they going to let that go to their head? Or are they going to say, you know what? We had a packed house, semi-packed house in week 1. A lot of energy coming from the fans. They were loud. They were into it. We fed off of that energy. They gave us juice. We'd like that in week 3. You want that in week 3? Win in week 2. We'll see. Easier said than done. Miss Perry, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate y'all. Miss Perry, thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My girl Condo P writes, y'all know the drill. Like, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell. With that, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I help you with that. Y'all know what to do. If you haven't already done it, make it happen. Over 540 of you out there. We should be able to get that like count up to 300. Make it happen. If you haven't already hit the like button, please do. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. And if you haven't turned on your notification bell, what are you waiting on? You don't want to miss anything. You don't know when I'm going live. I'm very impromptu. So, yeah, turn that notification bell on so you don't miss a thing. And go ahead and join the MOBB while you're at it. Don't miss out on any of these perks. Get you some. Thank you for that, Miss Perry. All right. Gunny Man. Feels like it's been a while. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Gunny Man writes, consistent LOL, Scott Turner has run game COVID. That's the problem, is we haven't been consistent in the run game. That's the one thing that I can say about Scott Turner, is that the run game hasn't been consistent. But in certain stretches, the run game, specifically last year during the 4-game win streak, the running game was the catalyst. So we'll see what happens. Chauncey Davis, my guy, CD, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Chauncey Davis, OG, triple OG, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, writes, Lou, Chauncey. Shout out to John Masco, the maestro. Indeed. He was on one on Sunday, because this man was rotating in guards in game just to see, some of it was didn't want to overwork a couple of, older guards or whatever. They had missed some time with injuries, and so you wanted to slowly reacclimate them. But that's still crazy to be swapping out guards in game. And they were doing it like it's a college football game or something. It's crazy. You don't see NFL teams do that very often. John Masco is the man. John Livingston, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, JL Smooth. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Lou, just traded for Scary Terry in one of my leagues. Yeah, the one you picked, my bro's team over mine. Like Salah, I'm keeping receipts, Lou. Hey, I just called it like I see it. I just assumed you would pick Josh Allen. Now, I didn't pick it because I thought you were the owner of that team. It was the better squad, man. I'm just being honest with you. And he probably single-handedly won whomever he was playing against with just Josh Allen and what he did on Thursday night. You know, I think he had 3 touchdown passes and then he ran for another one. And Josh Allen was crazy. He had a solid squad. So we'll see. Hopefully Terry helps you out. Joey Rollins, stand up. You officially the newest member of the MOBB. Joey Rollins, come on in, Mob. You know what to do. Show Joey some love. Welcome him with open arms to the MOBB. So glad to have you, Joey. You're just in time. Shit's starting to heat up, man. And where would you rather be, man, than with the MOBB? I mean, it's so easy, man. Welcome home, Joey. Where you belong. Welcome to the squad, Joey Rollins. All right. Let's see. Joey Rollins, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Joey Rollins, thank you once again for becoming a member of the MOBB. If I was looking to see if you had a little comment there, but I don't see anything. But thank you, Joey, once again for the super chat and becoming a member of the MOBB. Big Money Sonny, my guy, Big Money Sonny. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, Alex can't handle the truth. He bounced, Lou. I didn't even see him tonight. But come on now. Y'all know Alex ain't about that life. He don't run. You know, Alex stand 10 toes down and go to war with y'all all the time. You know, y'all go back and forth, and Alex never backs down. So I'm pretty sure there was a reason behind Alex peeling out. If he was here earlier, I may have missed him, but y'all ain't gonna be talking about my guy Alex like that. Alex Bonifield, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Alex Bonifield writes, Washington QBs haven't scored 4 touchdowns in 6 full seasons, 99 games. Wentz does it in his first game with our team. Is the Lions D in trouble? Love your channel, Lou, HTTC. I don't know how true that is. It sounds like a realistic stat, though. I mean, again, we don't score a lot of points around these parts, so I'm not shocked that a quarterback hasn't thrown for 4 touchdown passes in 6 seasons here. I mean, think about the quarterbacks who have occupied the spot of starting quarterback here over the last 6 seasons, and there you are. You have your answer. But with that said, is this Lions D? It could be in trouble. The key is they have to get pressure on the quarterback. We'll talk more about that tomorrow when we go behind enemy lines and really start to hone in on the Lions. But they could be in a lot of trouble if they can't get to the quarterback. We killed Alex. Sorry, Lou. Y'all are crazy with these names. I swear. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, hashtag long live spicy Eagles fan. I'll make up for his supers. Long live spicy super Eagles fans. Oh my goodness. Y'all are crazy. Age of Speed. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Age of Speed writes, double up. We putting the kids to bed on this one. I hope so. I hope so, man. I most definitely hope so. Chauncey Davis, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Chauncey Davis, OG, triple OG writes, just the 3rd year of Ron's plan. Just saying. Ron's plan. It's a big year, though. It's a big year. Year 3 is a big year for Ron, man. You know, if you want people to buy in, this is the year you got to show them. You know, this is the year you got to show them. I think this is a really big year for Ron. Ron made it a big year and then tried to downplay it as we got closer to the start of the season. But I like it. I like it a lot. Joey Rollins, thank you for the super chat once again. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Joey, greatly appreciate you. Thank you once again for doubling up. Joey Rollins. Going Commando. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Going Commando writes, more positive about beating the Lions based on the fact that Goff is not mobile. That, and we got a game under our belts that we were able to gain chemistry and learn from the mistakes, yet get the win 2-0. Kind of feel the same way that you do about Goff's, mobility or lack thereof. Him being immobile really makes me feel a lot better about getting to him. That said, if the Lions line is intact, that's a solid offensive line. But if we can put pressure on Jared Goff, he's been known to do, some foolish things with the football as well. And he's a guy that, is more of a dink and dunk guy. So if we could just keep everything in front of us rather, he on 3rd and 10, he'll check it down for 2 yards. Like, that's Jared Goff's game. So we just got to put them in those. If we allow them to live in 3rd and short, he's going to carve us up. And like you said, got to win, got some chemistry under our belt, confidence too. When you win and you win in the manner that we did, it builds confidence. All these things are some of the things that I think we're going to be able to build off of, and it's going to help us moving forward. So we'll see. Red Wing 01, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Red Wing 01 writes, aside from Okudah and maybe Tracy Walker, no one on this secondary scares me. Get Terry or Jahan with Okudah and let the rest feast like it's Thanksgiving. I like Amani Owarie too. He was their best corner last year when Okudah was out. So he got torched last week against the Eagles, but that's because A.J. Brown's a physical specimen. Owarie isn't terrible, but that doesn't mean he can't get cooked by a smaller guy. We'll see. But A.J. Brown was just way too physical for him. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I'll add him to the mix as a guy that has some talent. But the secondary of the Lions, leaves a lot to be desired. I'll say that much. Malachi Malik, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Malachi Malik, who writes, you ever seen a lion tuck his tail? You want to? I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it this upcoming weekend. I've never seen it, but I'd love to see it. Absolutely. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Big Money Sonny writes, Alex got worked in the Discord, Lou. He thought he could hang with the mob and Cherry Squad, but he couldn't handle the trash talk / truth. We were respectful. As long as you weren't disrespectful to my guy, Alex, it's all good. I think sometimes Alex, because he's a distant cousin, but he's still a part of the family, I think he forgets sometimes, though, that he's not actually like a blood relative, You know how somebody's been around the family for so long, you just consider them family, and it's just accepted universally that they're family. But once in a while, you have to remind that family member who's really just a really good friend that, hey, you not blood, and you can get it too. Maybe that's what y'all did to Alex. But keep in mind, Alex is still a good dude, man. So y'all make sure y'all take it easy on Alex. Y'all don't be killing my guy. But at the same time, if Alex step out of line, remind him, what it is. Okay. Jensen Richards, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Jensen. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, we passing or running more against the Lions. I think we're gonna pass more against the Lions, but we'll see. I mean, the Eagles racked up a lot of rush yards, but that's what the Eagles do. So we are more of a pass team than a rushing team. So we'll see. But they gave up 200. They gave up 215 rushing yards to the Eagles. So don't know. We'll see. I would assume pass. That's my guess. The Booty Creek Cheek Freak. Wow. Interesting stuff there. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Lions favorite? I like my chances. Go Commanders. Yeah, the Lions are favored by 2.5 points. Last time I looked, at least, it was 2.5. Now, that number could change. And by the time we get to the end of the week, it could be a pick 'em. But the likelihood is the number may move, but I don't think it's going to move enough to where the Lions aren't still favored, by at least 1.5. But we'll see. Either way, I love it. I love it. Alex Bonfield, stand up. You are now the newest member of the MOBB. Alex, come on in. Mob, you know what to do. Show our guy, Alex Bonfield, copious amounts of love and let him know what it feels like to be a part of an ever-growing but yet so tight-knit family here in the MOBB. Really glad that you came on board, Alex, and I look forward to chopping it up with you in the near future. Alex, welcome to the squad. All right. Young Free, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Young Free writes, excited for more Wentz. Forrest got to see the field more. You know what it reminded me of, listening to Ron talk? It reminded me of when Danny Johnson had that really solid performance against Green Bay. And we all assumed, oh, man, Danny earned some more reps. And Jack Del Rio got up at the podium the next week. It was like, nah, he don't got to play no more. He was just in because we was banged up. Our guy's back, so it's whatever. Ron was kind of like dismissive. He wasn't like shitting on him or anything, but he was like, yeah, that's really good, but Cam Curl is our dude. You know what I'm saying? So I think they were going to play some 3 safety looks anyway. So I'm excited to see. Now that I know he's capable, I'm excited to see what some of those, formational looks will do for us and how consistent they can be in those roles. But it'll be interesting, that's for sure. I would assume he earned himself more reps, but can't always assume that with this staff. CME HTTR, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, what up, Lou? What up, CME? Can't wait to see Sweet Feet Curtis Samuel. Never trust a man with 2 first names. And yes, I will be at the game. Let's go, Commanders. Well, you know what it is. I got one stipulation only, one request only, one demand. The hell with a request. One demand only. You know what it is. One purpose, one goal, one mission. Bring home the dub. So go and get that thing and bring it back, CME, HTTR. And on that note, that is the last super. We will skedaddle. So I thank you guys for joining me here on CNN. I look forward to chopping it up with you guys tomorrow. Friday, you'll get my prediction. For those of you on Patreon, you'll get the film tomorrow. If you're a mob member, I'm going to try to bang out a rookie wall for you, some more bonus content. Can't be assured that you'll get it this week. You'll definitely get it next week, though. But I'm going to try to bang out a rookie wall. Our guy is pretty high on the list. So I'm pretty sure you guys would love to keep tabs on where Jahan Dotson is in regards to the rookies in his class with no dominant quarterback this year, with no quarterback starting. It's wide open on offense. And more likely than not, a receiver is going to win it. Why not our guy? Why not our guy? So anyway, I digress. You guys go ahead, get out of here. Jensen Richards, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Jensen writes, don't you dare. Don't I dare what? You guys go ahead, enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll have an upload tomorrow. We'll go behind enemy lines. We'll really start to sink our teeth into the Detroit Lions. Thursday night football overtime. We got a dandy Chiefs hosting the Chargers, AFC West family business. That should be a ton of fun. And then, Friday, again, we'll get into all of the particulars of this upcoming matchup, week 2 versus the Detroit Lions. Until then, you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care. God bless. And as always, good night.
Here comes the diesel. Here comes the diesel. There's the snap, hand to Riggins. Good hold. He's got the first down to the 40. He's gone. The 35, the 30.